us and the collaboration that we're going to have going forward.
No better way to communicate to your audience.
How do we grow strategically now that we've gotten the right path forward? Hey guys, welcome back to the show with Todd Schroth and Agents Who Win. I have my good guest here, Coach Jen Henry with Game Changer Real Estate. She's changing the game of real estate, and I'm excited to hear how she's doing it. And you're up in the Jacksonville market?
I am, Jacksonville, Florida. That's right.
Awesome. So Jen, we've known each other for about a year and watched your path, and you just opened your new brokerage. And I wanted to kind of talk about that today because the new agent's failure, I want to say success rate, the new agent failure rate is what, 87% in the industry right now?
Yep. That's one of the statistics we track.
Yeah. One of the many that the numbers that's thrown out there. And it's the other, like the 80-20 rule, or even over 80%. Yep. And, I don't want to use the word shift, but as the normalization of the market comes around, everyone's like, my phone's not ringing as much. What am I supposed to do? Pick up the phones, and back in the old days because I grew up in this business, you want to, where's your lead source? You hand somebody a phone book and say, start calling. It's a lot different now. Now it's just pick up your phone because everything's in there.
That's right.
So what came up the idea to open Game Changer Real Estate?
Well, so many years ago, I was a productivity coach inside of a large franchise, and the program I had created was called Game Changers.
Okay.
And it really grew very organically, very quickly, and it had wild success and really took that office to number one in our market. And then through the change of ownership and some things that changed, the program essentially was revamped, and I got I guess you could call it a promotion to a team leader role. And so I stopped it after 3 years, but it was always still in my heart because I remember doing that and being the happiest I've ever been when it came to really just living in my purpose and what I feel like I was gifted to do. And it was always there. And my husband would always say to me, and everything that you've done, Jen, that was the one thing you did that had success and that you were the happiest doing. And so it never left my mind and my heart that I wanted to do it again. And then the idea came that I could open a brokerage, call it Game Changer Real Estate, and do the same thing for me. And then I could own it. And,
right.
And no one could take it away. And
right.
And I get to do it my way. And really, I get to do it nationally eventually one day. And so that's when it came to be. And we opened our doors in October of 2021. We started accepting agents in January of 22. So we're only 6 months old.
And what was your growth like over the last 6 months?
So we have had 7 agents join us this year, and that has been strategically small because we are allowing the agents that come in to teach us the systems that we need as we go. So they're getting a lot of one-on-one attention right now.
Okay.
But as we grow larger, which we are now starting to get into our growth phase, now that we're growing larger, we are really systematizing a lot more what we're doing so that it could be scalable and that agents can have it at their fingertips. And honestly, you hear a lot of agents say, I need broker support. What you need is to be resourceful. If you're waiting on a broker to answer your call, they are going to sleep. They are going to go away out of town to a wedding or a funeral, and you're not going to have them. So having your broker support, yes, it's great, but really having broker resources is really where you want. So that's our aim and our focus.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because everyone wants broker support, but what they want is someone to teach them everything from A to Z. And being a team leader myself, something in my eye. Being a team leader myself, everyone's like, okay, how do I use Remind? How do I use MLS? How do I do this? How do I create a CMA? How do I write a contract? How do I? And it's, a lot of gotta minutes. So it's, having the tools already done in place to help do that. And I know we're using the same system for this, which is great because I want to talk on the locker room here in a second. But it's having, the resources to go out and learn how to write the CMA or do this because I can't help you with a contract at 10 o'clock at night. Nope. I can't telepathically see your computer screen the same as mine unless we start doing a screen share and I'm typing the contract for you. And sometimes it's easier for me to just do it myself than it is to try and show you so it gets done faster, but then you never learn either.
Right.
We just had a contracts class at our office this afternoon or, after our team meeting. And some of the agents have been with us 2 years are still in the contracts class because they're learning something new. And they're wanting to keep the education. Not that they didn't know how to write it, but contracts change. You forget certain things because We're writing all these as-is contracts. What happens if we get back to asking for repair addendums and other stuff? Just refreshing the memory, I think is good as well.
Yep.
Well,
so funny. It's funny, Todd. I was telling some of our agents the other day. Do you remember back in the olden days, 2 years ago, when we had repair agreements? My agents don't even know what those are. They've never even had to do a repair agreement because it hasn't been non-existent. So those things are coming back. And you're right. Yep. They're going to change. And you've got to always stay up to speed with that.
When no offense, I feel like some of them, they're asking me stupid questions that they should have answers to, but a lot of our agents are within 2 years.
That's what I mean.
They're, I guess you call it post-COVID agents.
Yeah.
And they're going to have that wake-up call of like, what is this? So I'm having to educate them and things they should know, but they don't because they haven't been in that situation yet.
That's right.
I think a lot of real estate is situation-based. You're going to learn that way.
Yep.
I can take you on every showing with me, every listing presentation, everything I do. But if you don't go out and try it for yourself, you're never going to learn.
That's right.
And so it's like sometimes we throw them to the wolves because they need to be out there learning. And they might lose money doing it, but they're going to learn and gain education and then make more money after the fact.
There's only one way to really learn how to write a contract and close a deal. And that's to write a contract
Go
and
through the process.
Yeah. You really have to just go through the process. Now, like anything else, that's how adults learn.
Yeah.
And so you could sit all day long and write fake contracts and like go through the contract, but until you've actually got a real live person on the other end of that, every scenario is so different. There's no way to prepare you for every single scenario. You just gotta do it. And still just, like you said, keep learning.
Well, I mean, we want them to write the contracts. Like on our team, we have someone who does all of our contract to close that works for us. It's not a TC that's paid per file. So she's running everything, but I want you on your first couple deals to work, like literally follow those emails because you need to understand because your buyers are going to ask you contract questions. Even though we try and direct them back to our TC, they're going to ask you contract stuff. They're going to ask you what's going on and you need to know and have some education on it. Whether you need, after a certain point, it's like, hey, that's Katie's job. Know that. Don't, otherwise you're just a glorified showing assistant if you don't know how to do that kind of stuff. Right. So what are some of the first things people are going to gain walking into Game Changer Real Estate?
Well, they're going to walk in with a very clear understanding of what the odds of their success are. And I am very clear at the very first about setting that standard of what this actually could look like for you. So I kind of, I don't want to say I'm negative, but I do reset the expectation that this is not HGTV. This is not glorified showing homes all day long. This is a business you're building. And this is going to require you to do things you've never done, very uncomfortable things sometimes, and learn and grow and develop yourself as a business owner. So when they walk in, they have a really clear understanding of the statistics we're up against. We're not going to come into this and sugarcoat that. And I think I'm helping them understand that I set that standard so that's the bar, and that's the constant thought because I don't want them to think this is easy. So then they come in and then they do have a 2-week onboarding system that they have to go through. And then they start their training with us. And their training is 1 year or 5 deals, whichever comes first. Okay. And then at the end of that, and this is our unique model, at the end of 5 deals or 1 year, we've got 2 graduating right now. They are graduating from the program, if you will, and we will help them choose a brokerage to go to. So at this point, we take the guesswork out of everything that a new agent doesn't need to decide in the beginning oftentimes. So that's our unique model. And so far it's working and we have yet to really build this out all the way, but it's coming and it looks like it's working.
So you want to work strictly with brand new agents, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Why don't you graduate them to like a second phase of the company? So you keep them and get the longevity of the payoff from them.
Well, there's a couple of reasons why. The first reason is because in my heart of hearts, it's not my strength zone. Okay. And as a leader and a business owner, having been a team leader of a big office with a lot of agents, it's just, I'm not interested personally as a business owner in that aspect of real estate brokerage. Okay. It's my strength. It's not where I feel we are. I want to be good at one thing and one thing only and just do that. And
right. It's smart.
Yeah. And it's just, again, it's not I don't want to wake up in the morning and go, wonder which of my agents is going to leave me because they got a better split somewhere else. It's just, I don't want to live like that. I want to know I'm doing the best I can. None of my agents want to leave. In fact, most of them that are getting ready to graduate are asking if they can stay. But I truly want to, staying with us isn't an option because it's not the best fit. There
Right.
are brokerages that can help you go to the next level, and that's
Yeah.
not us. So it's about knowing what we do best and specializing in that, for number one. The second reason is because I am an ambassador with the locker room, in addition to owning Game Changer Realty. And my role at the locker room, I'm super passionate. I've been building this with Jake Dixon. I'm sure we'll talk about it more in a minute.
Yep.
It's a coaching and training program for brokerages. I don't want to create any competition with the brokers that I'm in business with. So I want to feed them agents. And so the way for me to stay in authenticity and in integrity with my role at the locker room is also to build a model that doesn't compete with them. And those are the two main reasons why I decided to build it this way and see how it goes.
So do you have a set of like brokers up in the Jacksonville area that you're working with currently that are accepting the agents you've trained?
Yes. Yes. So we are actively in communication with brokers. First of all, I'm having to teach them what we are, because no one does what we do. So they're having to learn what this is and then trust that we're going to do this. And so, yes, we do have brokers that are interested in our agents as they come out of our program, because I can guarantee when my agents come out, they will know things and do things other agents will not when you hire them off the street. And my agents, in fact, we went to a big event here in Jacksonville earlier this year, and a couple of my agents told me afterwards that they were only in the business 3 or 4 months and they knew so much more. They felt so much more equipped than the other agents they were talking to who had been in the business for years, because of what we're training and teaching. So I know that the agents we're producing are going to be excellent agents because they made it through our program.
Right.
And so I'm excited about that.
I think that's great. I mean, I would love to have like the pre-team, and where it's like, okay, cool. You go over here, you get your education, you get your sales, you get your couple sales going, and then we'll dive you into the, A team, B team, whatever you want to call it. And then we're now we're gonna skyrocket your career. You've got your training over here, and then you're coming over here over to step 2 to help push off. I think it's a great idea. If I was in Jacksonville, I would be like, Jen, anybody you got, bring them over to me, because they're already 3 steps forward, in this business.
Right. Yeah, they're actually going to be, right now, it doesn't mean diddly squat, but when they leave me, they're going to have a certification that we've created. And this certification is a badge that they're going to put on their name, on their signatures, and on their presentations, that's going to have a website connected to it that the consumer can go find out, what does a Game Changer certification mean? Yeah. And I very clearly, in 1 minute or less, explain to the consumer why they want to work with a Game Changer agent. Okay. So not only are they going to get to be placed in a brokerage that's going to give them what they need, but now they've got this extra layer of certification that I trust will give them a competitive edge out there in the marketplace. That's the goal.
So let's go over that 1 minute or less script. So if I'm the consumer, what am I hearing from you?
You're hearing that, hey, by choosing a Game Changer real estate agent, you are choosing an agent who has gone through a rigorous training program, unlike any other training program out there. I also state very quickly that the average agent doesn't sell but a few homes a year, which leaves the consumer at high risk for, whatever the challenge could be there. And that by choosing a Game Changer agent, they have been trained and taught how to do this the right way, and that they are now placed with a brokerage that's supporting them and getting them where they want to go. So it's really just saying, hey, Mr. Buyer or seller, choose this agent because they've gone above and beyond to be a better agent for you. That's what that sounds like.
So 2 questions I've got for you. One, how are you finding the agents that are coming to work for you? And then what is the now that I've joined your company, what does the training look like? So how are people finding you?
Yes, great question. Well, it's slow burn.
And you're breaking up.
Oh, don't tell me that. No. Am I okay right now? Can you hear me?
You are, right? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, let me close some of these things here. So it's a really, really slow burn. Okay. And can you hear me all right? We're still good?
Yeah, we got you. We're still good.
Okay. It's a process. We're a new model, so we're having to really teach. We're having to teach the market what we are. So it's slow. I know that in my heart of hearts, I believe in the vision of what we're building. It's going to take off. But right now, the way we're finding agents is we're finding people when they're thinking about it. Okay. I currently have a pipeline of 65 people who have answered an ad that they want to change their career. and I'm currently working with them. We just partnered with the Gold Coast schools for real estate school. They're going to be able to come to school at my location. So now I have stepped back even one step further and said, I can help you with a career change. And so I'm helping people with the steps. Now, of the 60, 70 people, maybe 5 are going to do it. But hey, that's 5 people I can help. Give them a leg up.
Yeah.
So that's
it's when you're sitting there looking at numbers, like if you figure FSBOs or internet leads, you're talking, you get 100 leads and you're going to close 2 of them. It's the same thing. So if you've got a 10% ratio right there of people who answered an ad, you've actually got a pretty good lead conversion.
Well, and that's a lead source from 1 month of an ad.
Yeah.
So I figure so our goal right now at Game Changer is to hire eventually 10 agents a month, and that's it. Yeah. We want to hire 10 a month, brand new people. So we're building that pipeline right now. And I've got people in school. I've got people at every step of the process that are coming on board with us. They've already signed an agreement to join us. So we're helping people with the transition from other careers. That's really what we're finding our people right now. And then you asked about what the program looks like. They come in, they have a 2-week onboarding, 2 to 4 weeks.
So let's talk about the 2 weeks. What does that 2 weeks entail?
That 2 weeks is a system that they're following. It's a whole video series that they're going through with us where I'm teaching them how to set up their systems, how to join the board, how to order their business cards, giving them their logins and passwords for their CRM. They're creating a list of 100 names of their people that they're going to upload to their new CRM. They are changing their Facebook profiles, all of the things that go with getting you set up so that when it comes time to start their training, all that's done. Because I don't want them distracted with all that stuff when they start their training. Okay. So they have between 2 and 4 weeks, depending on when they join me, to complete that. And then on the first Monday of every month, we're starting our training program for the new group that came through. And that is a 12-week track plus that they go into at that point.
So you do that over 12 months, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep. So they do the 12. Well, no, we do the 12-week track.
Okay.
Then they have
the first Monday of the month, they're doing like week 1, the second Monday, or the next month, they're doing week 2.
No, I guess let me back that up. We have 3 groups going at all times. Gotcha. So we have a group that came in that's starting it. We have a second group. We have a third group. So we've got a group that's started, a group that's in the middle, and a group that's finishing. Okay. So we put all 3 through. All 3 of them are all at any point in time in the program, but they are doing it 1 week at a time.
Gotcha. So the 12 weeks is over 12 weeks, which is you've got to run it on Mondays.
Exactly. Okay. And then after the 12 weeks, they have a 2-week, what we call vacation, planned time to just downtime. It's during that time that we have them schedule their post-licensing and a couple of other things that we ask them to wait on.
Yeah.
We also ask them to get their pipeline updated with any new business that has come in over these last 12 weeks and get their CRM all the way up, because sometimes we've noticed a lag behind on that. So that 2 weeks is some catch up with their life.
Okay.
And then they go into 6 weeks of business training. Okay. And in that 6 weeks, they're going through another locker room program called the 12 Steps to a Scalable Business.
Okay.
And we're doing that for the next 6 weeks on some of the business end of things. Meanwhile, all the habits that they built in Track Plus are still ongoing. And then after that, they go into the Agent Success System coaching program, which is now just accountability every week, every month, every 90 days about what they should be doing. And that's our plan. And at some point, if they want to go through Track again, they're given the option to go through Track a second time.
Yeah. I think it's great going through it once or twice. It's kind of like the people earlier today that have been with me a year or 2 years that know the contract, write their own deals, and close them and don't have issues, are sitting in the class.
That's right.
Sit in it, learn it, because heck, maybe one day we'll have you teach it for us.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You can use them. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the whole idea. And and so Track Plus, when you go through it the first time, you're this wide-eyed, drink it from a fire hose agent. The second time you go through it, you are a savvy agent. You've now maybe likely done some deals. Your pipeline's full. You're now dealing with some different challenges. You're a different person.
Yeah.
And I think it's the second time that you go through Track Plus that you truly begin to see massive results.
Yeah.
So we want to make that available to them if they're still with us to go through it a second time. The good news is we have 2 agents currently about to graduate who will never even make it to the second time in Track Plus because they're leaving us.
Well, that's perfect because they've already hit their 5 deals. And if they can hit that in the first 6 months, I mean, you're doing something right there. And I got to give you kudos for that.
Thank you. Yeah, we've had some really, first of all, we bring in really great people. They come into this knowing what they're getting into. Okay.
Well,
These are not people who are dabbling.
Yeah, I think you know, setting the guidelines up front, and it's making me think of some things we need to change, because it's like like the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting, what to expect when you're joining the team, what to expect when you get your first contract, what, you know, even it's like a video series for the clients too, for the buyers, what to expect now that your house is listed.
That's right.
And, you know, it's, if you're clear with the things up front, then there's not going to be a question later. So we do a 90-day onboarding, and we've, you know, through some changes in our team, we've we're sitting down yesterday talking some things we need to do. They usually sit down with my director of operations for the first, 4 weeks every week and go through stuff. And then there's not enough time with myself there. So I'm like, all right, at 45-day mark, we're going to sit down, you and I, and talk one-to-one how things are going, where you're at, kind of, teacher to student report card. And then we're transitioning through the next 45 days. At the 90th day, are you still on track for doing things, or do we need to talk about a transition off the team? Yeah. And because it's putting that accountability up front makes them want to get done, because they're coming to us because they want to be on the team. And if they have the knowledge, know that if they don't do certain things that they're going to be offboarded, it's like, oh crap, I've got to get this done.
That's right.
And so you're setting the expectation up front. And that's one thing we haven't done, and we're trying to change in our model now as we bring in our next round of agents. Putting that accountability up front so they understand 45-day mark, I better have my stuff together. Otherwise, that next meeting, I could be off the team.
Well, and what's really great about letting the system dictate that, if you don't have to be the bad guy. I don't know about you. I love all the people. I love all the agents. I see
I had some agents too long that shouldn't have been there.
Well, yeah, but it's like, honestly, I'm like, I see what this real estate career can do, but I cannot want it more for you than you want it for you.
Yeah.
That never works. That ends up being super dysfunctional for both of us.
Yeah.
So I love all the people, and I want to, and I don't want to be the bad guy, but at the same time, we're running a business, and a business that's intended to get results. And if I can't do that because you don't want it, then we can't be in business together. So the systems can be the bad guy instead of you being the bad guy.
If you had automation set up, and the minute they come in day one, they already have their 45 and 90-day appointment scheduled with you, and day 90, you just click a button, and all of a sudden they either miss the appointment, or hopefully it's rescheduled for a reason, but or you say, okay, it's not going to work. The automation hits, and it's like we're off board. All these things are changed. It's like, whoa, that was quick. We don't want to be that way, but we always think we can make someone sell a house. We can make someone be a great listing agent. We can make someone be this person that they're not really meant to be.
Yeah.
And I'm a D personality. I love running my team. I love being in the sales side too. And you got to find that happy beat. Do I want to run a team? Do I want to be out in sales? You can't do both. Yeah. And you can't have other D personalities on your team because they want to be the team leader too. Learn that one. And so it's like, you got to find a happy medium with all of them and see who's the best fit for your perfect avatar of an agent.
That's right.
I think you guys have narrowed that down.
We are pretty clear on that when it comes to, we only take one kind of agent, so there's that. So then from there, we have to vet them for motivation. And, you really don't know what a person's motivation is till you put them, out there to see what they're going to do. Yeah. And you put them in training. Training is going to push them to do things. And if they do it, then they want it. If they don't do it, they don't want it. And it's just, you got to look at it that way. But one of my favorite quotes in coaching that I learned when I was a coach and a leader and back in my program years ago was, you cannot push a dead bear up a tree. So I say this to agents all the time. If you are alive and clawing on this tree, I will stand under you and I will push you and I will sweat and I will get you where you want to go. But if you are dead, you're going to fall back on me and kill me. We're not doing this. So I tell them, you have to be an alive bear. You can be at the bottom of the tree, but you have to be alive.
Well, and you ask, I think one of the questions we asked today at the meeting was, guys, who wants, we got a challenge for June. Who's going to make the 100 calls? Or why didn't you hit your 100 last month? Did you not know who to call? And I swear, and it's not just our meetings, but it's like a lot of meetings, you have to pick on certain people to get the audience to start talking.
That's right.
Because otherwise you've got this blank stare, like, okay, who's going to speak first?
Right.
And then it's like finally the one speaks up, and all of a sudden everybody's got a comment. It's like, that's what I'm looking for, guys. Not a dead audience here. Let's all conversate. how's the
How-
ISA working out, or how's so-and-so happening, or what's going on here? And it's like, once everyone starts talking, we can all help each other.
That's right. You got to
Yeah.
be alive. I also often say in this business that you are paid in direct proportion to the energy that you bring to your business.
Yeah.
How you show up every day for your business energetically, emotionally, is going to make so much difference in how people respond to you. And if you show up like a dead fish or a dead bear, if you're showing up to Zoom meetings with your camera off and, not participating, that's probably how you're showing up for your business. It shows up everywhere. So wake up. This is an incredible career that requires live bears.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the Zoom stuff, because I was on a call or listening to a Zoom with Cheplack and Veronica, who's hosting it, or who's guested for Cheplack. But there was 300 people on the Zoom, or 300 are downline, and she's like, guys, if your cameras aren't on, we're going to disconnect you. You do not show up to a meeting with a bag over your head. And I want to have paper bags in the office for the guys who ever on our Zooms always have their cameras off. All right, here you go. We'll draw a smiley face on it so we think you're smiling.
That's awesome. I love that.
But
yeah, I like that. I've never gotten that ruthless about taking people out.
They have to be. I mean, I'm on the board of directors here at Orlando Regional, and we're changing our policies where they can only go 2 Zoom meetings now. Otherwise, they get kicked off the board. It's in person, and there's not the same engagement when you're on Zoom, and then you don't even see them. You're like, where did so and so go? And their cameras off because they're doing something. They're in the bathroom, or they're driving, or whatever. You had that. I mean, we have our calendar for the whole year, so I know when all my appointments are. I just need to book around it. There's no reason I shouldn't be at the appointment. If I'm there and I'm on Zoom for a reason, it's because I'm sick, or for whatever reason. But you got to have your camera on and be there and engage and pay attention.
Right. And I'd also say that if you've ever shown up to multiple Zooms with your camera off and just expect to be fed, you've clearly never led a Zoom, because nothing is more difficult than getting on a Zoom meeting and trying to provide the energy to a bunch of blank screens. So just be courteous, but above all else, honor your business.
Yeah.
Honor the commitment you've made to be here, and show up strong for this, for your customers, for your lead generation time, for your calls, whatever you're doing, and it makes a big difference over time.
So let's backtrack a little bit. I want to talk about the track program people are going to go through. What are the 12 weeks that they're going to do?
Yeah. So Track Plus is part of the locker room, which you and I both are partners with. Huge value for any agents that are partnered with you. I mean, and I know I know what it cost you, and I know the investment that you make as a leader.
Yeah.
And the time commitment for that. Yeah. So it's a huge value. So Track Plus is one of the programs inside of the locker room, and it is the 12-week productivity system that honestly an agent could just go through on rinse and repeat the rest of their career and probably have a business 25 times that of the average agent. But Track Plus is geared towards getting an agent into the habits and mindsets of a 24 or more unit producer. It comes from the concept that NAR tells us that only 3% of agents, 3%, are actually selling 24 homes or more per year.
Yeah.
Which we know 24 is kind of the break-even point for making a real solid living. By the time you take out taxes and broker fees and business expenses, it's enough to support a family on a median salary.
Right.
So we know that 24 homes or more a year is what it takes for an agent to really make it big time in this business and really change their family's lives. That's the goal of Track Plus. Get you thinking and acting like that agent before your pipeline says you are.
Right.
Which
is smart.
And so that's the entire program.
Now you've run through Track Plus. Your other one was you're running through the 12 steps to a scalable business. Let's talk about that for a second.
So that's the program that really just helps them set up the fundamentals of their business, because I'm sure you can agree that a lot of agents might know how to write a contract. They might know how to do a CMA, but they don't know how to run a business.
Right.
Our agents are going to learn that in conjunction with learning how to sell houses. So they're learning how to set up their mission, visions, values, and perspectives. They're learning how to set up a calendar. They're learning a lot of the business fundamentals that they need to be able to be a true business owner, not just a realtor.
Okay. And that's, I think, smart, because I was just listening to Kyle Handy on another episode that he's doing, and he makes the comment of, I've been in this business 10 years and I never looked at my numbers. Now I sit there, I'm running myself by a P&L. And 22 years in this business, I'm finally got a bookkeeper. I'm just going to grab the box, go to the accountant's office, we'll get it figured out. How much do I not have to pay this year, Mr. Accountant? What else do you need? Where can I go find some of the things? It's funny when you run it by a business, you're like, okay, on this lead source, we made X dollars. We only made a 1-to-1 return. We don't need to spend that money again. We need to dump it into this lead source. Am I taking a proper salary? Am I paying my people enough?
Yep.
Do I, sitting with Brent on our call yesterday, I realized wow, if we don't hit these numbers, because the numbers he's plugging in, it doesn't look good. If we just said, hey, we need to sell another, for us, it's 100 homes between now and the end of the year. And if you figure your 50-50 splits, whatever, that doesn't even break the bank for the company. So you got to really dive in to understand what's going on. So now I know I need to sell 130 homes to hit that profit number where we need to be.
Wow.
And bring in more agents. And, so it's you're running a business. It's crazy when you really dive into it.
Well, and I think most agents, I hope that any agents hearing me today cannot identify with what I'm about to say. I think when most agents say how much money they're making, they're focused on GCI, gross commission income. Your commission check is not your money. Maybe this much of this is yours. And you and I know this logically, but when it comes to really understanding if you are running a profitable business, I have more often than not, when I've run numbers with agents or brokers for that matter, or team leaders, they have discovered that they're not even running a profitable business. And I don't know, they're in denial, along the process. And so clarity is power when it comes to your numbers. The more money, the more even though they may hurt to know your numbers, like you said, go from 100 to 130, that kind of hurts.
Yeah.
But knowing that, just knowing it now gives you a competitive edge. It helps you sleep better at night. Now you know what your actual target is. It's not just some idea that you have.
I want to instead of I have to,
Right.
It's I want to sell 100 homes. No, I have to sell 100 homes this year to hit those numbers that we need to be at.
A big difference in your motivation and all of that. That's right.
I listened to your class you did in the Locker Room Profit Sense.
Yep.
And that was great because it did dive into the buckets where you need to have your money and all that stuff. So if anybody listening who hasn't looked at the profit style business, reach out to Jen about the Profit Sense video that she's done.
Yeah, I live, eat, and breathe it. Now, when I own a couple businesses and my other businesses were profit first. Yeah. Then I opened this brokerage 6 months ago. And I did not start it. I wasn't making money, so I didn't even think to set things up. Then all of a sudden we started making money. And I woke up about 6 weeks ago when I was going through the Locker Room Success System with Jake and realized we're making money. I have no idea where our money is. I don't know. So I've been spending the last 6 weeks actually setting up Profit First for the company. Finally done. June 1st, I was done. I'm ready. So everything we make this month is going to go into that system. But for those listeners here today, get the book. Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. It's basically a cash flow management system for business. Every real estate agent should read that and employ those tactics with every penny that comes into your company.
And I like how you say you literally only have this much of the check because the IRS gets some, the broker gets some, the marketing gets some, the lead gen gets some, your business gets some, and now you can eat.
That's right.
So the clients think you made 10 grand. No, it's $10,000 goes to a lot of different places.
A lot of agents take their GCI. Well, they take it to the broker. The broker cuts them a check. They take that check. I will tell you, if I were to line up 10 agents and ask them, 9 of them do this. They take that check and they put it into their personal account and they live on it. That is the worst thing you can do. It's living in denial is what it is. And it's not a good, and what will happen when this business gets tough, and it will, you will scrutinize how much money you're making and you will see that you're not running a profitable business, and it will make you question whether you want to keep doing it or not. So get ahead of that. Understand.
And if you would have, done this last year, so this year as we're shifting or normalizing in the market, getting from 3 to 6 days of inventory to 3 to 6 weeks to hopefully 3 to 6 months, we can get some normalization happening. You're not going to be selling 15 houses a month. to the same buyer, it's going to be a lot of work, and you have that savings set up, and you can run. And next year I can be comfortable if we only sold 100 homes because I have the money in the bank because we put it away and we tracked our numbers correctly.
Well, when you ultimately run the profit first system the right way, what it looks like is every month you're giving yourself a paycheck of the same amount of money. Because if you literally take this $10,000 check and put it in your bank account and then you don't have any for 3 months, you will not sleep well. You will not sleep well. But if you take that $10,000 and you allocate $5,000 of it into an owner profit or an owner salary account, and every month you pay yourself $1,000, you now can live 5 months on that while you're rebuilding your pipeline. Like the predictability of your business, it will improve your health.
Yeah.
It will improve your relationships. Like, it's just a better way to live.
It gets rid of the wrinkles, the hair loss, and the stress and the blood pressure. Wow.
All of
so
this.
I might get a full head of hair back, and I might not have to go get Botox, and I might have to get and I might be able to get on my blood pressure medication.
You probably, I promise you, and I'm really kind of not exaggerating. Like, not having a system for your money will kill you.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
It can. I've seen it happen. I don't want it to happen to people, but it's there. And that's not real estate. That's just business in general.
That's business. So, yeah, that is just business. So be a business owner, do those things, set yourself up for success. In the end, in the long run, it's so much easier too. Yeah. It may sound complex at first. It's not.
It's like anything. It's like going, getting a real estate license. It's, once you get it, you've got these 6 steps to do. So go read the book, take these 6 steps to start running yourself like a business.
That's right. It's really not that hard, especially if you do it right from the beginning.
Right. And that's the challenge. 22 years later, I have bad habits. So 22 years later, I have to break those habits and create new ones of running that style, of systems that are there.
That's right.
Jen, I appreciate today anything that we can leave the audience with about Game Changer Real Estate and what the new agents should look for if they're not in your market, what they should look for in a brokerage they're walking into. Yeah, that's great. So any agents in the Jacksonville market that are brand new, you can send them to GameChangerTalent.com to see what we're about. And, if you're not, and we're not there yet, because one day we'll be national, but if we're not in your market yet, then the things that you need to look for in a brokerage are truly the training and the results. Don't go into a brokerage and ask them about their splits. Don't go into a brokerage and ask them if you can shadow the broker. None of those things are going to get you where you want to go. Go into a brokerage and ask them about their training program. And very specifically, how do you, Mr. Broker, help me make money or more money wherever you're at with wherever you are, okay? Whether you're a producing agent or a brand new agent. And what are your success stories? Tell me about some of your agents that you've helped do that. Ask those kinds of questions. And you may find that some brokers are resistant to that, but that's the proving ground. Yeah. Do they have systems and models that are going to get you where you want to go? Because at the end of the day, that's the brokerage responsibility. Not only to protect your license and keep you out of jail, but also to provide you with resources to sustain so that you can build your business and sustain it and grow. How do they do that? That's what you should be looking for. No, that's all good stuff, because you want to know, like, what are they doing? What have they done for the other agents? What's the track record with those agents that they've gone through their company? What's the turnover maybe as well? Those are some good things that you've got pointed out there.
You can ask about splits. I want to be clear. Splits are important. I get it. They are more the net number than they are the gross number. Splits are a net question.
Yeah.
Gross question is, how can I make money? All right. And so if you can find a brokerage that's going to help you make money and then help you keep more of the money because they have attractive splits or value there, then great. But don't start there.
Well, a lot of people think about they want the whole 10 grand, and not to go on the splits conversation, but if the 100% model worked so well, then every brokerage would be at the 100% model. There are 50 models, like Robert Slack's company, for example. He's got agents across the entire state. And I've got one of my friends that works for him over in Brevard. He's got 14 deals under contract this month. Yeah. He doesn't have to worry about a thing except showing houses and closing deals. They got everything running in the background. He's making $96,000 this month.
Well, I'll say this, and I'm not against any certain kind of split, so I'm just going to put this out there. Yeah. Because, again, every different brokerage has their own value proposition. This is what we help agents figure out. But think about it for sale by owner. A FSBO wants to save the commission, but what do we know as professionals? We know that at the end of the day, they make less money and are at greater risk because they didn't just pay the commission to begin with.
Right.
Don't be a FSBO agent.
Right.
Don't make a decision based on splits. Make a decision based on value and alignment with you and your goals.
Yep.
At the end of the day, you will probably make more money, even if it's a higher split, because you're in the right place. You're in alignment. That's so much more important than just being in an office that's just going to give you all your money.
That's because they're going to help you sell more real estate. And if I can help you get to 24 deals a year, then guess what? That's 24 more people that you've been in touch with that you could potentially get referrals from, that you're going to now do 36, 48, whatever.
Exactly. You know? I mean, it's just a compound effect at that point.
Yep.
So it's a good conversation to have. And so I could talk all day on that.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Well, Jen, I appreciate it. Game Changer Real Estate. She's changing the game in real estate. Guys, follow us on Instagram, TikTok. I forget we're on there. I'm doing these random reels. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. And we just launched our podcast series, so this will come out on podcast as well. Jen, I appreciate you, and we will see you on the locker room calls coming up.
That sounds great. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate the opportunity.